Good afternoon, welcome to Spectrum Television News at 12. I'm coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State's capital. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu receives United States military delegation at Aso Rock. Federal government allocates 6 billion naira for construction of 3 mega schools in Gombe State. In other news, Hong Kong sentences pro-democracy mogul Jimmy Lai to 20 years in jail. We'll bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us. It's the news at noon. We head first to the national scene where President Bola Tinubu yesterday received a delegation from the United States led by the commander of the United States African Command, U.S. AFRICOM, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The delegation was led by General Dagvin R. Anderson, commander of U.S. AFRICOM, and accompanied by the Charge d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, Keith Heffen, alongside other members of the team. The meeting took place at the State House, where the President welcomed the visitors in the company of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and the nation's service chiefs. This was disclosed in a statement on Sunday by the Special Assistant to the President on social media, Dada Olusegun. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu will embark on a 2-day state visit to the United Kingdom from March 18 to 19, 2026, following an official invitation from King Charles III. The visit was announced on Sunday via post on the official X handle of the British royal family, which stated that the Nigerian leader would be formally hosted by King and Queen Camilla at Windsor Castle. According to the post, Tinubu will be accompanied by his wife Oluremi Tinubu during the visit. Reacting to the announcement, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanuga, noted that it would be the first state visit by a Nigerian leader to the UK in 37 years. Away from that, the federal government approved 6 billion naira for the construction of 3 mega schools in Gombe State. The Minister of Regional Development, Uba Amadu, made this known in Kumo, headquarters of the Accord local government area, while inaugurating a 250-bed capacity hostel constructed by the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC. The minister said that the 3 schools were constructed by the NEDC. Reports say that the 3 mega schools are located in Dandinkowa, Gombe Central Senatorial District, Duku, Gombe North Senatorial District, and Kaltungo, Gombe South Senatorial District. According to the minister, the intervention is part of a broader strategy to make education more attractive, accessible, and competitive, particularly in regions affected by years of developmental challenges. From the Red Chambers now, where the Senate will hold an emergency plenary session on Tuesday, February 10, 2026, in a notice sent by the Clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo. The lawmakers were directed to convene at the National Assembly complex on the instruction of Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Order urged all senators to attend the emergency sitting. No reason was stated for the meeting, but the development comes amid debates about the e-transmission of election results after the Electoral Act Amendment Bill passed the third reading of the Senate. The lawmakers had adjourned plenary after then. Clause 60, sub 30 of the Electoral Amendment Bill is connected with the electronic transmission of results. On Wednesday, the Senate retained the provision for the electronic transfer of results as contained in the 2022 Electoral Act. The Red Chamber rejected moves for the real-time transmission of results and a 10-year ban on vote buyers, but it instead retained the sanctions of jail terms and fines. In a related development, there is heavy security presence at the National Assembly in Abuja as protesters gather at the entrance of the complex, insisting on the inclusion of real-time electronic transmission in the Electoral Amendment Bill. The demonstrators under the banner of Occupy National Assembly said the Senate must be explicit in its provision for electronic transmission of election results, despite recent clarifications by the upper chamber denying it rejected the move. Meanwhile, members of the Niger Police Force, the Nigerian Army, and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps were seen overseeing members of civil society organizations, a handful of opposition African Democratic Congress, ADC members, and some women groups were present at the entrance of the complex as the demonstration began.
Anybody, whether you are the back or in front, you are making a statement. Don't fight for everybody to be in the front. If not, we are not going to make sense. We want a peaceful procession. So let's guide our... Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So can know your right to.
We head now to Africa, where the government of Ghana has recalled its High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mohammed Ahmed, following allegations linking him to electoral malpractice during a party primary election in Ghana. The recall was ordered by President John Mahama and announced in a presidential statement issued on Saturday. According to the statement, the directive took immediate effect, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs instructed to carry out the necessary diplomatic and administrative processes. The decision was connected to allegations of voter inducement and vote buying during the National Democratic Congress parliamentary primary in the Ayawa South-East constituency. Still in Africa, South Africa has announced the withdrawal of its troops from a United Nations mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. President Cyril Ramaphosa's office said that he had informed the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres of the decision. South Africa has supported the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the DRC for 27 years and has more than 700 soldiers deployed there. The presidency said Pretoria will work jointly with the UN to finalize the timelines and other modalities of the withdrawal, which will be completed before the end of this year. It said the decision to leave MONUSCO was influenced by the need to consolidate and realign the resources of the National Defense Force. On the foreign scene, Japan switched on the world's biggest nuclear power plant again today after an earlier attempt was quickly suspended due to a minor glitch. A problem with a monitoring alarm in January forced the suspension of its first restart since the 2011 Fukushima disaster. according to the Tokyo Electric Power Company TEPCO. In a statement, the Kashiwazaki-Kariwa plant in the Niigata region restarted at 2 p.m. about 0500 GMT. The facility had been offline since Japan pulled the plug on nuclear power after a colossal earthquake and tsunami sent 3 reactors at the Fukushima atomic plant into meltdown. Still on the foreign scene, a Hong Kong court sentenced pro-democracy media mogul Jimmy Lai to 20 years in prison today for national security crimes, a punishment rights group condemned as effectively a death sentence and a symbol of the city's shriveling press freedom. Lai, a British citizen and founder of the now-defunct Apple Daily newspaper, was found guilty in December of urging foreign countries to impose sanctions on Hong Kong and for publishing seditious articles in his paper. The 78-year-old's sentence is by far the harshest handed out under the Beijing-imposed national security law, surpassing the previous record of 10 years given to legal scholar Benny Tai in 2024. Still to come in the news. Man City beat Liverpool to rekindle fading Premier League title hopes. Do stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Now to conclude the news at noon. On our business news, the World Bank has reduced the size of a planned grant to the Central Bank of Nigeria from $10.50 million to $6.80 million, with board consideration for the project now scheduled for March 27. The funding, which remains a grant and not a loan, is for the CBN Technical Assistance Facility, a project designed to strengthen the Apex Bank's technology-enabled data-driven supervision of the banking sector and to improve oversight of domestic payment and remittance systems. Updated information from the World Bank website indicates that the project has reached the decision-making stage, the final internal stage before approval by the World Bank Group's board. This marks a clear advancement from its earlier concept review stage. The approval date is now listed as March 27, 2026, a shift from the earlier June 12, 2025 timeline associated with the initial $10.50 million grant proposal. Still in business, the Nigeria Customs Service has once again reaffirmed its commitment to secure border governance and facilitate transit trade following the federal government's approval to reopen the Samia border corridor in Gombe State. According to a statement by the National Public Relations Officer of the NCS, Abdullahi Meweda, the decision was made known during a high-level stakeholders engagement held on Saturday at the Government House, Gombe State. The statement explained that the engagement brought together security agencies, traditional leaders, economic operators, and international customs representatives. The engagement also provided a strategic platform to examine practical measures to strengthen Nigeria's northwest border architecture while ensuring that legitimate trade flows seamlessly under strict compliance protocols. On our health news, the Lagos State government has sealed Ladipo spare parts market along the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road Apapa Oshodi Expressway over alleged repeated environmental infractions. Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources Tokumbo Wahab announced the development in a post shared on X on Sunday. The popular spare parts hub in Mushin was shut as part of the state's ongoing enforcement drive to ensure compliance with environmental laws and discourage street trading and improper waste disposal. The market has previously faced sanctions over similar issues. Still in hell, the Oyo State Police Command has intercepted 101 wraps of Canadian loud, 9 bags of Indian hemp and other illicit drugs. This was disclosed in a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer DSP Alayade Olainka on Sunday in Ibadan. Olainka said the drugs were stockpiled in an apartment on Abanise Street Academy area, Olomi, Ibadan. He explained that the seizure was made possible through credible intelligence provided by one of the command's strategic and progressive partners. According to him, information received indicated that the apartment was being used to store a large consignment of suspected illicit drugs by one Oluwadamilare, who is currently at large. In the world of sport, Erling Haaland's stoppage time penalty earned Manchester City a dramatic 2-1 win at Liverpool on Sunday to reduce Arsenal's lead at the top of the Premier League back to 6 points. City were heading for defeat at Anfield with 6 minutes to go before Bernardo Silva cancelled out Dominic Sobolaze's stunning free kick to spark an incredible finale. Haaland put City in front from the spot before the visitors had another goal ruled out, and Sobolaze was sent off in the same incident after a VAR review. Victory was City's first away to Liverpool in front of a crowd since 2003 and reapplies some pressure to Arsenal's quest for a first title in 22 years. Defeat delivered another blow to Liverpool's hopes of Champions League football next season. The defending champions remain down in 6th and 4 points adrift to the top 5. Still in sports, Alvaro Carras and Kylian Mbappe's goals earned Real Madrid a battling 2-0 win at Valencia on Sunday to close the gap to La Liga leaders Barcelona to 1 point after the Spanish champions had beaten Mallorca on Saturday. Alvaro Arbelo's side eked out a tight victory at Mestalla to keep the pressure on their arch rivals, missing suspended forward Vinicius Jr. and injured midfielder Jude Bellingham. Los Blancos lacked sparkle but did just enough to claim 3 points on Spain's east coast. Meanwhile, England international Trent Alexander-Arnold made his return after injury as a substitute in the second half of Madrid's victory. On entertainment news, famous Nigerian actress Fahithia Williams Balogun has announced the passage of her mother. She made the announcement a few hours after her 55th birthday party. The actress today disclosed that her mother passed away on the eve of her party on Sunday, but the sad news was kept away from her until after the ceremony. She, however, urged her fans and the general public to keep her and her siblings in prayers. And that's all we have on this news bulletin. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at noon. I am Uyai MM. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.